And this whole thing gets a bit darker. Like I said, there was a case with a girl last month, April 16th, and there was a man in his 20s who accompanied her. What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So, I'm back inside. Yeah, I know content hasn't been like the most consistent lately. I've been busy, and I'm also finding it hard to stay motivated a little bit sometimes. I just get in these moods. And here's another thing, actually. When I've seen videos have been doing very well recently, which is a pleasant surprise, and things have been growing steadily, then I'm scared I'm gonna upload one video that's gonna be bad and undo that. So like I'll upload and let that video ride its course before I want to upload again, and it's not a good habit and mindset to be in. But I'm sorry, here's another one. We're back, and this is again something that we've been talking about a lot on my channel recently. I don't know if it's because I'm an old dusty millennial, but seeing the trends and these things that these younger people are doing to themselves, it's kind of scary. During COVID, we had the whole Tide Pod challenge that Gen Zs were doing. No offense to the Gen Zs out there. Now there's this other thing going on in Korea right now, and I saw this just happened last week, a few days ago. It's this thing that younger people are doing online, and they're called depression galleries. Have you guys ever heard of that? Let me tell you what this is. The term stems from the online community DC Inside, which operates various minor and major galleries. Each gallery is a sub-community within the DC Inside umbrella. It is similar to Reddit and various subreddits. The depression gallery is one where depressed people meet and talk to each other. While some can seek comfort and advice, others have taken drastic measures and used the gallery to form unalive pacts. Yeah, I don't really know much about Reddit. I don't use Reddit, but people talk about it a lot. And I know there's like a subreddit for everything out there. Whether you need, I've seen Reddit be used for good. Like I saw this whole YouTube video about how Reddit and people online help solve cases and missing crimes and stuff, where like it came down to this dude in the countryside of Maryland or Virginia who was able to identify a whole car make and model from one specific little part, and he was able to help solve a hit and run. So I've seen it, you know, be used for good. I don't know about this DC Inside, this DC thing. When I think of DC, I think of Batman and Superman and the Flash and Wonder Woman. But yeah, I don't know if you guys heard about this story, but last week there were two teenagers who met on the depression gallery and decided to make an unalive pact together, and they tried to unalive themselves. Live. They tried to live stream this. Now this is the second case I've heard about younger people live streaming themselves, doing this to themselves. There was a girl who live streamed her jumping, and then this one, it was two girls, one was 15, one was 17, and they were at the bridge about to jump. Luckily, one of their friends, or maybe one of the viewers, I mean he might have been a friend and a viewer, was able to call the police and stop them, and they were saved and returned to their guardians. And the fact that these people are tuning in to watch this, it's crazy, because I was just watching this show on Netflix called Red Rose, and it starts off with like, you know, a supernatural approach, like you think there's something ghostly going on, but it turns out it's just like dark web stuff, and there's this app. Anyway, I'm getting off course. Yeah, there were people watching these two girls about to unalive themselves on a live stream in the depression galleries. And this is becoming more common and more popular. The case from earlier this year that I was talking about, that I mentioned, on April 16, 2023, another user of the gallery, a teen, committed by jumping from the 19th floor of a building in Gangnam. They also aired this on social media. They had decided on this after seeing a post on the depression gallery calling for people to make a pact together. Ultimately, the person that made the pact with them pulled out after meeting with the teen for an hour. In this recent case last week, luckily they were stopped before they could do it, but it's also sad that last month there was another pact like this. One person pulled out, the other person went through, and now she's no longer with us. I don't know why I've been talking so much about this lately on my channel. It just really bothers me with the mental health crisis worldwide, really, and the bullying in Korea specifically. Like yesterday, this morning, very recently, I saw a story about a 21-year-old man in the military who attempted to unalive himself because they speculate that he was facing bully and harassment from his superiors. He is in a coma, unresponsive, but he's still fighting for his life. Any online space or anything that can be used to promote self-harm or violence of any sort or hate of any sort, I don't think should be allowed to just run freely. So I'm kind of surprised that nothing's happened so far. Like, don't get me wrong, it's one thing to want to talk to somebody who probably knows what you're going through and can relate to what you're going through. But when it's leading people to make these unalive pacts together, there needs to be some regulations. The police believe that some of the forum's members use it to find people to attempt with, and that some are using the board to target vulnerable people for sex and drug-related crimes. Based on this suspicion, the police asked South Korean internet regulator, the Korean Communications Standards Commission, to block access to the forum, but the KCSC postponed making a decision on the request, citing that it needs further discussion whether illegal posts account for the majority of forum posts. Aiding or encouraging suicide is illegal in Korea. The forum's host DC Inside also refused to shut down the forum, saying it could cause copyright issues with posts on the board and that the problematic users might simply move to another forum. After the two girls attempted to, the KCSC vowed to make a decision as soon as possible on Monday. I feel like there are a lot of resources out there, things and ideas that start off with good intentions and then people just hijack them for their own fucked up use. So it's kind of sad that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people find these depression galleries useful to talk with other people. It was like, oh, this was me last year, I felt hopeless and I wanted to end it all, but now I feel better and this is how I did it. Versus people making packs and deciding to live stream it to other people and then knowing that people actually tune in to watch. And this whole depression gallery thing gets a bit darker. Like I said, there was a case with a girl last month, April 16th, and there was a man in his 20s who accompanied her. Later, the man was arrested on charges of aiding and abetting suicide and violating the law on suicide prevention. Speculations were raised that the teenager had been sexually exploited through the depression gallery. The police arrested 4 men in their 20s, reportedly members of the Shindaebang family, an offline group created by the gallery users, on charges of statutory rape. Last month, a woman in her 20s, key member of another offline group, Shinlim family, was sentenced to a prison term. She was accused of recommending alcoholic drinks, sleeping pills, and drugs to users of the depression gallery, including underage women. She is also suspected of exploiting female students. Immediately after the suicide last month of a high school girl, Professor Lee Soo-jung, a famous forensic psychologist at Gyeonggi University, appeared on a radio show and declared, "This is an evolved nth room case where the worst combinations of sexual exploitation, encouragement, and use took place." Her remarks were not an exaggeration. I'm sure you guys remember the nth room. That's a whole nother thing, and that's gonna make this video way longer, but people are saying that this is becoming that. Insiders of the gallery also said most users were teenage girls and men in their 20s, and a significant number of them were fake depression patients who target mentally vulnerable teenage girls. In January and February alone, 4 court convictions were handed down over crimes against minors through the depression gallery. So yeah, I don't want this video to be like crazy long or too long or anything, but this is what I've been reading up on a little bit lately, and it's something that we've been talking about a lot on my channel lately because it's becoming more and more relevant lately. On April 16th, that was the first time I ever heard of someone live streaming something like that. I had no idea back then it had anything to do with these depression galleries, and then when it happened again last week, I looked up like what is this? And it's becoming an exploitative place where instead of healing each other, you're taking advantage of each other and encouraging harm to each other. I just thought it was worth talking about because it kind of scared me how ridiculous this was getting. Like, I didn't expect so much of this to be connected already. You know, it is okay to talk about these feelings and these thoughts with people. It's just sad that there are so many people out there who try to take advantage. Again, I don't know, I haven't found too much on why they chose to live stream this because that's 2 for 2 now. And one thing that also makes me really upset is how slow these people who can change policies are. They drag their feet on issues like this, and yet they're like, oh my god, we have such a population crisis right now, people aren't making babies, and existing living citizens are taking their own lives. It's like, you can focus on that too, you know? So anyway, thanks for watching if you did. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. 안녕.